Welcome to CBMC Barrie. Thank you for tuning in to this month's episode of our online series. We're excited that you can participate in this session where our goal is to encourage and inspire you with some messages, some testimonies from business leaders all throughout Central Ontario. Today we have the privilege to hear from Steve and Donna Langman of Wasaga Adventure Park. I believe you're going to hear an amazing, inspiring, touching testimony from their lives about how they trusted God. As you watch, please join us after for a Q&A networking forum. The link has been provided ahead of time through email, or you can go on to our website or onto our Facebook page to get the link to connect with us after our talk. So lean in as you hear their message. And you're going to hear an amazing message that's going to inspire you how to trust God through even some of the most difficult situations. Let me pray with you. Lord, I just thank you for each and every one that is tuning in today. And as we hear this message, I just pray, Holy Spirit, that you will just take a hold of each of our hearts and to challenge us in thinking about how we can move forward in trusting you with even some of the most difficult times or the most difficult situations. Just be with us, Lord, as we listen, as we engage, and as we talk together. We pray in Jesus' mighty name.
Hello there, we're Steve and Donna Langman of Wasaga Adventure Park. We have a park in Wasaga Beach that has many things to do. Paintball, archery tag, airsoft, Nerf wars, laser tag, escape rooms, and I might be missing a few things. We have day camp, a zombie thrill ride. There's a bunch of stuff that we do here.
So back in 1992, I started paintball on a rented piece of property, and Donna, Donna was just a good friend of mine. We had been friends for about 7 years, so she helped me, along with a lot of my family and friends, build the paintball park. And then then the next year we got married, and then over the next 12 years we went on to have 12 kids.
Not 12 kids.
No. Over the next 12 years we went on to have 4 kids. 3 boys, and we finally got our girl. So then in 2004 we bought this piece of property and we built this building and we moved over here. And so then everything was great. So then in 2008 I suffered a severe brain injury on a dirt bike. So I was in bad shape. So then she took over, and here we are 13 years later. Okay.
And this is our 30th anniversary coming up in June for the park.
Business.
29 for us coming up.
Yeah.
But we do want to say how much we had to trust God in that situation when he had his accident, because he was so badly injured that we really had no choice. So we're going to continue on that theme as I talk to you about our trials during COVID.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, we have many adventures here, and we're pretty good at projectiles. Many of those are throwing something, shooting something. Our season runs fairly long. We go from March until the end of December. But when COVID hit, we were just starting our season. We had done staff training. We were ready to go. We had a full March break in our calendar was booked. And so we were very excited because this season was off to a really great start. But then COVID hit. We shut down before we were told to shut down, and the phone just kept ringing with cancellations. So we didn't know what was going to happen in that time. But we started to think about how we could generate some revenue that didn't require people coming here. So we already had a store, a physical store, and we also had an online store. But it was very small, and we hadn't really developed it yet. So we put our efforts into doing the online store. It was pretty rusty at first, but I also had to overcome that. It was so easy to be home. It was great. Normally spring, I'm super busy. Now I could do spring cleaning. We were hanging out with kids. We were having game nights like crazy. It was really quite nice, and I could have easily slid into that. But I had to do something in my mind in order to know that I was ready when we were going to open. So in my mind, I decided that we were going to open May 2-4 weekend. I didn't know if that was going to be true or not, but I decided I will be ready for May 2-4 weekend. So we were able to open on May 30th. It was great. We followed up on all the COVID protocols. We were able to adapt really easily because many of our adventures are outside, and the ones that weren't, we just didn't do them, or we moved them outside. We even had a window in our pro shop that became the walk-up window. So we were able to very easily adapt to the COVID protocols. So that was pretty exciting for a couple of days. Then we received a phone call, Bylaw received a phone call, and someone felt that we shouldn't be open because we were not on the list of outdoor recreation, which is why we opened, because they had said outdoor recreation could open. So this is what we are. So we opened. But this complaint came in. Bylaw had to make a decision, decided that we weren't on the list, and therefore we couldn't remain open. So that was really disappointing. But we went to our community. We have a very, very big community online who consists of our members, people that have been here on day camp, our staff. We also have a tournament team consisting of 29 young men and 1 young woman. And so they were very supportive of us. And I really felt like they were looking at us for answers, looking to see, like, how are we reacting to this? How are we going to handle this? So I made a plea to them. And in that plea, I did paraphrase a Bible verse, really. It's 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fearfulness, but one of power, love, and sound judgment. So I had let people know we don't want to live in fear, but we want to live smart. And so I asked them if they could go to bat for us and to let the powers that be know that we should be open. I mean, here we were, an outdoor facility playing. I just wanted to open the paintball part of it. If you're playing paintball and you're within 2 meters, you're really too close. You're wearing a mask. You're outdoors over 70 acres. You're spread all around. And it was perfect in my mind that we should be outside doing this. So really fantastic. People went to bat for us, and within a week we were on the list. So that was something we were very thankful for. So what we did then was we opened, but not without some challenges at that time. We'd lost some staff. Some staff were afraid. We didn't have the birthday parties. We didn't have the bachelor parties that were coming in. We didn't even have enough customers to fully open for our full days and our full hours. Low cash reserves, product shortages. It was definitely a challenging time, but knowing that in that time that we really had to trust that God was going to figure this out for us. I should mention too that in 2020, just before we got shut down, we had a leak in our roof that caused $100,000 worth of damage. So it was not starting out a good year. That summer, the ash borer beetle found our forest. So we had that to contend to. So it was just an all-around challenging year, and we were wondering how it was going to go. But now that we were open, we were feeling, pretty confident. We survived that year with a deficit. We received a bunch of grants, but we still had a deficit at the end. We had an amazing November, December, like 5 times the attendance in those months from previous years. So we were just really thankful for so much. The little things, we were thankful for our family, and that's not a little thing, that's a big thing, but we were thankful for our family, our health, our business, even our home. Just thankful for the littlest things we had a lot of gratitude for. And I'm going to say that had to do a lot with trusting that God was going to work it out. And there's the verse Psalm 44, which is, how happy is the man who has put his trust in the Lord. And John 14:1, through this whole time really stuck with me. Your heart must not be troubled. Believe in God, believe in me. And I did. I do. I really believe that God is going to work everything out, even if that meant we would lose our business or our house. You know, two things that we love and enjoy. If that meant we were going to lose those things, it was okay, because I trusted that God was going to work that out. And we had to do that back when Steve had his accident, and he really worked some amazing miracles. So I totally was trusting that God was going to work whatever miracles needed to happen, and that in the end we would come out okay, because he loves us as his children. So at the time, we continued with the online store through to the next lockdown, because we got closed down in December at Christmas time. And so we did the online store, and we opened again with outdoor recreation. They put the same list out again, and we weren't on it again. And so I thought, well, this must be a copy and paste error. I mean, we were on the list, now we're not on the list. So we contacted them and said, I think you've made a mistake. We should be on the list. And the district health unit showed up. Someone else had called, maybe the same person. It's amazing the power of one person has to shut you down. So the person called again. We weren't on the list. The district health unit decided that it's true, we're not on the list. We needed to be shut down. So they came, they did an inspection. We had done everything well. That wasn't the reason. And they said, it's strictly because you are not on the list. So we had to get on the list again. So I had started my campaign again, but really they would not budge. I even had an MPP call me and say, can you please get people to stop emailing and calling us? And I said, I can't. It makes sense to people that we should be open. They're a passionate community. And so I can, but I think you're still going to get phone calls. I said, just get me on the list, and then you won't have to worry about it. So we weren't able to open until almost July of this season in 2021. It still makes me laugh so hard, because it was a Friday we were allowed to open. So I had been asking you, can we even just have 10 people come on our 70 acres? No, it's a risk, no, it's, your community's concerned. So that's the Thursday. We get an email from the district health unit on the Friday that tells us we can open, and they gave us a calculation, how to calculate how many people we can have at our facility. So I worked it out, and I thought, this can't be right. So I sent it off to our manager and said, can you figure this out? Am I doing this right? He said, no, I get the same number. I was like, okay. I sent it to assistant manager. What do you think? No, I get the same number. So on Thursday, we can have 0 people. But on the day we can open on Friday, we can have 9,186 people, which I thought, these people are crazy. But I was quite happy. We decided that instead of 9,000 people, we would make our own limit of 300. And we've kind of stuck with that. So we did have the two most profitable months that we missed. May and June are our most profitable ones. We started with a deficit. We started with less staff because we had missed May and June. So our college students, university students, had decided to get another job, which is fantastic. They need to do that to go to school. But we lost some experienced staff. We had a rush of people when we opened our doors. We had lots of people coming out. Birthday parties were starting, bachelor parties were starting. People just wanted to get outside. But our staff had no training, because we opened our doors and it was like, whoosh. So instead of 4 days of training, we had like 4 hours of training. And we said, there you go, we're just sending you to the wolves. We also lost some more staff mid-season because some other businesses were also struggling with getting staff. So they were offering a much higher wage, and I couldn't match that wage. I'd been closed for 5 months already. And so I just really couldn't give that much of a raise. And so we lost more staff. So that was really a difficult time and made me pretty tired. By the end of the season, we're now winding our season down, and things are a little quieter, thankfully. But it was great to see there was a lot of diversity in the groups. We're getting markets this year that we haven't had before. Last Saturday, I think we had 5 low impact birthday parties, all come at once. It was a little bit crazy, but so happy to see them because we haven't had those type of groups in a very long time. So that was nice to see. 2021, this year, we just did our year end, and our revenue is almost exactly the same as what it was in 2019, and that's with our 2 months that are most profitable that we're missing. So God has blessed us, and we're so thankful, so thankful. There's a verse that kind of sums up everything that we've been thinking along during these years, and that's rejoice in hope, be patient in affliction, and be persistent in prayer, Romans 12:12. And that's exactly what we've had to do. We've had to have hope and rejoice in it. We've had to be very patient, and we've been afflicted, and then we've had to be very persistent in our prayer. And I want to ask you out there, if you were to lose something, because that was a very great possibility for us, that we could have lost our business and our house. If you were to lose something that was close to you like that, would you still trust? I had to ask myself that question. Would we still trust him, even if it meant losing these things? And so I challenge you to think in your mind, what would it be most precious to you to lose at this moment? And would you still trust God to figure out how it was going to end?
Thank you, Steve and Donna, for sharing that encouraging, incredible testimony. Now, as you've had an opportunity to hear this amazing message, we would like to invite you to participate with us in this Q&A networking forum at 12:30 on the second Wednesday of this month. If you need the link, please go back to our website at cbmcbarrie.com or go on to our Facebook page where you'll find the link there. Thank you, and let's participate.